Hey guys, welcome back to Cocktail Cards. My name is AJ and today we're going to show you how to make two different style apple martinis, the Appletini and the Washington apple. So the first drink we're gonna make is the Appletini. We're kind of going for this overall kind of green sour apple style cocktail for this one. And this drink has been around for a very long time, but it's probably been made really popular lately by JD on Scrubs. He really loves his Appletini. So let's make sure we do him justice on this one. This is gonna be a shaken cocktail, so go ahead and grab a pint glass or your shaker tin, and the very first thing we're gonna do is add 1.5 ounces of vodka. Next, we're gonna add 3/4 of an ounce of our sour apple pucker. Let's go ahead and add 1/4 of an ounce of triple sec or orange liqueur. And lastly, we want to squeeze out 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice. Now that fresh lime juice is really going to help give you that realistic sour apple flavor that's a little more natural of a tart flavor. Next, we're going to grab some ice and we're going to give this drink a shake for about 8 to 10 seconds. Now you can serve this in a martini glass or a coupe glass. I'm gonna go ahead and serve this one in a coupe glass. Let's go ahead and just double strain our cocktail into the glass. Now I've seen a couple garnishes for this drink. Probably the most popular will be a nice cherry. So I do have these Luxardo cherries that we can throw on the bottom here. Gives a really nice contrast to the bright green color of this drink as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a cherry. We're just gonna plop this right in the bottom of our drink. So let's go ahead and cut an apple wedge to garnish. And what we want to kind of do is just have this kind of rest on top here, maybe at an angle. So we can cut this at an angle here and just slide it over the side. Actually, it'd be nice to have the color facing you. There we go. And there you have it, the Appletini. That's not bad. That's actually pretty good. You'll definitely get that sour apple pucker in there. Adding the fresh lime juice kind of gives you a little bit more of that natural sour flavor that you would get if you bite into a fresh green apple. And the triple sec actually adds a little complexity to this drink. I'm not sure if the original recipe really calls for it. I've seen a lot of people just use simple syrup in its place. I like the triple sec in this cocktail. I think it just really kind of gives it a well-balanced, a little bit more of a complex flavor on this cocktail. So there you are, the Appletini. So let's go ahead and move on to the Washington apple. Now, being from Washington State, this is a very popular drink. Most of the time, people will order this as a shot. So if you want to do one single shot, you can take this recipe, cut all the ingredients in half, and you should have enough for one shot. Or you could just make it how we're gonna make it, and it should be enough for 2 shots, since really you should be doing shots with a friend anyway. One other thing I have to let you know, typically this drink will be served with Crown Royal. And if you go out to a bar, they probably will still give you Crown Royal. And one reason behind that is Washington State actually wasn't even allowed to distill and have their own alcohols until like 7 years ago. I know that seems really crazy to comprehend, but it was illegal to have distilleries in the state of Washington until recently. But now we have our own distilleries, so I think this drink really should have some local Washington State bourbon in it. So that's what I'm gonna be using, but traditionally this will be made with Crown Royal. So let's go ahead and start making this drink. And the very first thing we're gonna do is add 1.5 ounces of whiskey. Next, we're gonna do 3/4 of an ounce of our sour apple pucker. So that sour apple pucker is going to give us the apple flavor in this drink. However, we are going a little bit more towards a sweet, red, delicious apple flavor for this one. So now we're gonna add 1 ounce of cranberry juice. Let's go ahead and add ice, and we're gonna give this a shake for about 8 to 10 seconds. We're gonna go ahead and just use a regular martini glass for this drink, and let's go ahead and give this a double strain into our glass. Now, when you're doing shots, typically there won't be any garnish. However, when you are doing a martini, I do like to give some sort of garnish on here. So let's go ahead and throw another apple wedge on top of this for a garnish. Throw that right on there. And there you have it, the Washington Apple Martini. Pretty good, and it kind of gives you these vibes, like they almost taste like gummy bears or candy in a way. It's weird, the bourbon with the sour apple pucker, the way they just combine in flavors just kind of remind you of candy, which I think is why this is so popular as a shot. And then of course the cranberry kind of sweetens everything and just makes the drink a lot more smooth. And yeah, it's really fun. This compared to the Appletini, which has fresh lime juice, that's gonna give you more of that biting into a fresh apple flavor versus the Washington apple, which is gonna give you kind of like an apple candy flavor. So let's go ahead and put these two next to each other. So there you have it, the 2 apple martinis, your Appletini and your Washington apple. Hey, thanks for stopping by to check out the Apple Martini video here. I know in Washington State, these drinks are really popular because we're known for our apples. So I would love to know down in the comments if you guys have had any of these apple martinis, if they're popular where you're at, if you guys do any changes to the cocktails, I would love to hear that. And if you did find this video helpful, make sure you give us a thumbs up as well. Really appreciate it. And of course, if you're new here, please do consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification for all of our recipes we'll be putting out. We're coming out with a ton of them, so you're not gonna wanna miss that. But I think it's time for me to drink these Appletinis, so I'll catch you in the next one.